You sneaky. You're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Come on. Come on. Really?
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly.
Let's give the people what they came for.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada? There will always be a Canada. All right, elbows up, elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here! Get them out of here! Get the hell out of here!
Enough with the woke shit.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
Is the federal government stealing from us? Are they sabotaging our industry? Are they taking us down the path to communism? Are they censoring us? Are they stealing our guns from us? Come on, let's go.
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Welcome to The Forge here on Monday nights. As always, I hope you guys have had an incredible weekend. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, this show mostly focusing on Alberta independence type issues, but also we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on around the world, because, or at least the country, because a lot of things are happening that are going to tie in with independence. But it wouldn't be a show with just myself, would it? We got to bring in good old co-host Mike to the stage. Mike, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everyone had a great weekend. It's Monday. The only place to be is here on the Forge.
Isn't it?
We got a packed show tonight, man. It's going to be good. We got special guest Adam Soos will be joining us shortly. And besides that, I mean, we got the Douche. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. So everybody, do you a favor, put the like button in, make with the shares. We got to get it out there because this is where you got to be.
There is something really weird going on with YouTube's algorithm right now. Usually videos used to average about, for 1,000 likes, you'd hit about 10,000 views. We've been hitting like 3,500 likes and only getting like 20,000, even though the comments are lining up. There's something weird going on, guys. Hit the like button. It helps get us out there, helps get some people packed in here. I'll tell you what, we got 1,000 likes tonight. I'm going to give away, what are we giving away tonight? I'm going to give away a copy of Sheila Gunn Reid's new book, The Independence Blueprint, signed by Sheila Gunn Reid as well as Tamara Leach. You guys are going to want it. I've read the book already. It's fantastic. You guys will love it. Man, we got a lot to get out of the way before Adam joins us. Mostly some honorable mentions. Look at this. Right off the bat, Dutchie comes in and slaps it down. Like always, great to see you guys. Can't wait until the numbers are released. Hello, my free independent Albertans. Thank you so much, Dutchie. God, you're so generous on this channel. I really appreciate you, brother.
The rock star that is Dutchie, an absolute rock star.
He's a rock star, I'll tell you that. Ann Yazinski coming in with a $5 super chat. Hi, Derek and Mike. The Forge, let's do it. We got a lot to get out of the way. Let's get a roll call going on. Good old fashioned. We'll do a quick roll call. And then we're gonna get to some stuff.
The hot button issues of the week.
The good stuff. Good evening, everybody from Howick, Minnesota. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Akubesh coming in. Welcome in. It's good to have Mel in here from Airdrie as well. You two also stopped showing who is live under subs. Oh, wonderful. That's always good. What do we got? A
Another
free
Derek.
used copy? No, this is a new copy we're giving of Sheila's book. I grabbed a couple when we went to the Rebel News event. Sheila was nice enough to sign them all for you guys. What do we got? Charlie here from Lethbridge. There we go. Jamie coming in from Montana. We've got BC laughs. Don't worry. We got BC laughs. Somebody wants me to give away lollipops. We're not giving away lollipops anytime soon. We're all out of lollipops. They went to Mark County. We've got Jess coming in from Grand Prairie. We've got Philip from Louisiana. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. So much chatter going on. Nelson Caden from New Brunswick. Look, somebody mistook you for Matt.
It's not
Hi,
the
Derek
first
and Matt.
person.
The hat is in the house. Guy Hodgins coming in. That's okay. It's okay. The Forge is still relatively new, so that's okay. We'll give it a pass this time. Butt Fluff is coming in from Strathmore, Alberta. I love that name. I love that name. We've got Matt. Matt is actually in here, but he's in the chat coming in from a hot bunker in an undisclosed location, Interlake, Manitoba. Well, don't poke your head out too far. I heard it's cold. Ugly CB coming in from Barhead. Welcome in. We've got Ryan Prince from Raymond, Alberta. Let's go. Carrie coming in from Nashville once again. Good to have you in here. Chris is joining us from Airdrie. David Brewer's coming in from Springfield. Gray's coming in from Provost, Alberta. We got Mike. He's not a troll, but he's coming in from Calgary. We got Unknowns coming in from Texas. God, gotta love Texas.
Respect.
Love Texas. Carol and Gerald coming in from Cowtown, good old Calgary. Welcome in. Rodney's in from Newfoundland. Jane is in from Red Deer. Sean's in from Chilliwack. Plargo coming in from Bowness and Calgary. Daryl, the United States is in the house. The United States is always in the house on these streams. You guys are so great. Just like Harrison, Arkansas, in from Arkansas, USA. Welcome in.
Nice.
Jessen from Bicycer. We've got Ron coming in from Wisconsin. Guys, I got to get caught up. We got way too much to get through.
A lot of US tonight. This is good.
I love our American viewers. I think they're wonderful. I think our American viewers are some of the best viewers we've ever had. So truly amazing, wonderful. We got to get through a quick announcement here on the channel. I know Tony Shaw had asked me a while ago to do a "This is my pride flag" shirt from Alberta. With the Alberta flag. I have to admit, Mike went out of his way and secured the ability to make something very awesome. And I want to show you guys, we have something new in the shop tonight, something you're going to love. But first I have to pay homage to a good old site, the Alberta Pin. If you guys haven't seen, Alberta Pin's been giving out these Alberta Pins at the Big Four, different kind of independence events around Canada. But he's got this golden Alberta flag that they're hanging up in businesses around Alberta that support independence. You can buy yours if you want one for $12 over on his site. It's at thealbertapin.ca. Mike knows the gentleman who runs this outfit.
Yeah. So if you don't, yeah. So essentially it's an army buddy of mine that started this with his 18-year-old son. His son's just about to finish high school, and it was a project that he kind of wanted to do with them, kind of teach him how to get into business and all kind of this stuff. So they came up with the design. They did it themselves. It's kind of a father and son team doing this. And he's like, I served with this guy for many years, good vet. And he's like, yeah, he's all down with independence. And, he's just putting the work out there.
Really doing amazing work for Alberta. And I got to say, the gold and black, it reminds me kind of like of the Vegas Golden Knights logo. So we talked with this gentleman, and he says, the Fringe wants to do what? We said, we want it on a shirt. We want to put shirts out there. We want to get everybody ironclad in this gorgeous gold and black logo. Here's the front of our new t-shirts.
Show the back.
Folks.
Show the back. The back is sick.
Show the back. Show the back. The North stands free with a good old Unacceptable Fringe logo on the back. Brand new in the shop right now, folks. This is a limited time run. Look at this. We have coffee mugs that have both the North stands free and the Alberta gold flag on there as well. People have been saying this for a long time. Where's the zip up hoodies? We got zip up hoodies with the same front and back done as well, and regular hoodies for you guys as well. I'm mostly akin to this charcoal gray one. I really like this. I ordered a couple myself already today. They're available on the shop, folks. Of course, we had to put the Fringe branding on there because people got to know that we're all about Alberta independence, but
it is what it is. I'm really excited for mine. I mean, orders have been placed, people. This is awesome. And thanks again, Derek, for doing the shout out for Mark's company. Like I said, just a father and son, just trying to show him the ropes in the business world.
and they're backed up on flag orders, which really makes me proud. That's just absolutely simply amazing. One last thing I got to give a shout out for. If you guys watch John Bolton, not the American John Bolton. I know every time I mention John Bolton, a bunch of American viewers think I'm talking about like this dictator style guy. No, we're talking about John Bolton on YouTube. He's hosting a pop-up petition from a trunk event coming out this Saturday in Auburn Bay at the Dog Walk Park at 52nd Street Southeast and Auburn Bay Drive in Calgary from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I've been told he's going to have bouncy castles there. I believe that's same awesome. One that's from the Freedom Convoy. So go by and say hi to John, have a coffee. There's going to be bounce castles for the kids, plus more surprises. He says, talk independence with friends. If you guys are in Calgary around the Auburn Bay area from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., get out and sign the petition. We're going to talk a little bit about the petition tonight. If you haven't signed yet, like really, what are you waiting for? Time's running out. In fact, we may be losing a month on the, on the old petition dates on our time slot. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. Why don't we get BC out of the way, Mike? What do you have up on BC? Let's get to that.
Okay, but everyone, you've seen now that the land claims have now reached into the lower mainland and essentially all that is Vancouver. This was hot, but this was hot breaking news yesterday, and it's gone pretty viral. You guys were all familiar with what happened with Kamloops, and basically the I want to call it a land grab. I really got no issue, no other question. But basically, this is just to point out what's happening involving like the treaty land. So this here is a map of all the treaty land that is currently in the country that is Canada. And if you guys see over here, right in the middle area, you can see where Alberta is pretty much covered by Treaty 6, 7, 8, and a little bit of 10. Now, the yellow ones are basically deemed unceded land. Now, a lot of that was a little history lesson for you guys. Basically, the reason BC is this is only happening right now in BC, even though Ottawa is technically unceded land because the Algonquin, but that's a different story. Mainly because when they did the treaties, because Saskatchewan and Alberta was a territory, it was all done with the Crown. BC was basically a separate entity, and the people that did it were like people of status. It wasn't with the Crown. It wasn't with magistrates. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like average Joe wrote these treaties. So essentially, that's what they're going after. If they're successful with this in BC, you're going to see this basically spiral down to happening to the rest of Canada. So this is something that we really need to watch, really need to be, taking serious, because this could spiral, especially with the UNDRIP stuff, into the rest of the country. So it is kind of terrifying. I don't know. What do you think, Derek?
Well, they're saying that Ontario, like Southern Ontario, is going to be the next one that gets hit. That this is kind of a testing grounds in BC to see if they can get through with it, because it's so relaxed when it comes to the treaties. I really don't know, because here's the thing. There were a number of First Nations peoples who actually chimed in the comment section on today's video that says, yeah, I'm First Nations and I don't agree with it either. I don't think it's fair, because I've even said we shouldn't have to pay for the mistakes that were made hundreds of years ago. First Nations folks get checks, they get obligations looked after by the government. And a lot of people were saying that this was dressed up behind, fishing treaties and land stuff. And, it doesn't really mean what it does. What people missed out of that is this gives title to these folks. Mm-hmm. It's not, it was disguised in a way that even David Eby is now coming out saying, hey, we weren't consulted on this. We weren't told about this. How's it feel, David? How's it feel that your government is now going out and around behind your back, if that's true, making these backdoor deals for the sake, for nothing more than either virtue signaling or what I can see is working alongside the UN to create civil war.
Yeah, I mean, I know we got a lot of people chiming in, and a lot of people watching the show that are from that area, and my heart goes out to you, because at the end of the day, when you bought your mortgage, when you bought your property, you never thought in a million years this would happen, and now here you go. And what are you going to do about it? So
Mark Nixon, he lives in that area.
Yeah.
And he had a huge rant about it on X today. I want to pull that up really quick, because it really nails home how people are feeling about this. He even says fuming rant. Maybe he should start doing some of the fringe rants. It's so much better, Mark, when you do it live, when you're not on camera, or when you're on camera. Born and raised in Burnaby. So first he says, Mark Carney's secret deal to give away Vancouver property land rights. Born and raised in Burnaby, I bought my house here expecting straight up fee simple title. The kind of ownership every Canadian was promised was rock solid. I dumped my entire life savings into it. Every overtime shift, every skip vacation, every dollar I didn't blow on stupid shit went straight into this place. This isn't some investment property. This is my family's future, my biggest asset, my retirement plan, my kids' inheritance. And right now, as of February 20th, the federal government quietly signed 3 agreements with Musqueam that recognize Aboriginal title over huge chunks of Burnaby, Vancouver, Richmond, New West, the land my house sits on, and they're still keeping the full unredacted text secret. Now, Northern Perspective came out saying that they don't believe it's the case, but the problem that I have is that it says title. So I guess I'll wait for a better explanation. But it still says no maps, no clauses, no details on what shared decision-making actually means for development permits, mortgages, or my goddamn property rights. Just a fluffy press release buried like it was nothing. And that there is the problem. Now, this goes on, folks. Like, we'd be here for 20 minutes reading this all out. He has a huge fuming rant. And the problem here is that what the government's doing, allowing this property rights issue to go unnoticed, is a crime in itself. But this just shows you, when they say we're doing everything for your protection, or we're doing it to make the country better, whatever excuse they want to give you, what you do know now is that they're doing all this behind closed doors, hoping you won't notice. This is why they want to ban people like us. Yeah, like, it's bullshit, essentially, because at the end of the day, them not basically releasing all the information is just causing panic. It did like what it did in Richmond. It did like it did in Kamloops. People don't know. I mean, like I said, you pour your whole life and every dollar you have, retirees, stuff like that, into the assets you own in the home, and now it's up for question. Like, this was like when you sign your mortgage papers, it's crazy. And like, it's like Matt just said, is this part of that 2030 agenda? Or is this something we're going to see more often? And it brings everything into question, is what it does. And like I said, my heart goes out to you guys out there on the Vancouver coast, because, like I said, this is uncharted waters that we're getting into with this. And it made me question a lot of what are we going to be dealing with in Alberta now that there's a First Nations lawsuit headed to Danielle Smith's doorstep in April for allowing us to collect our signatures, stating that, well, it's our land and you can't go, and all the usual arguments. But the problem is that folks like Keith Wilson, Bruce Party, etc., have laid out in detail that Treaty 6, 7, and 8 have it in full text. Exactly. You ceded the land forever. All that's left are obligations, not property ownership. And but it says in bold letters, ceded, surrender forever. It was part of the deal. At the end of the day, they ended up with the homes, reserves, free education, no taxes, yada yada yada, and it was all part of the deal. Okay, like, yes, that was the deal. Was it a good or bad deal? I mean, that was almost 200 years ago. And now we're how would I say, the wokeness that we're understanding, that we're seeing now in society, and the cowtailing and all this stuff, is it going to come back, and is it going to bite us in the ass, essentially? Yeah. I got a few honorable mentions to get out of the way, and then we're going to we're going to move on. Look at this right off the bat, Laurie Jean. We got to have cowbells, really? I gotta have really? Cowbell, is that what we're looking for? I'll give you one right off the bat.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Thank you so much for that, Lori. What we got? Dutchie coming in with a $28 super chat. I will donate 4 shirts if we hit 1,000 likes. 4 of those new shirts, folks. We'll buy you a coffee, Derek, to cover. I appreciate it, Dutchie. Thank you so much. So 1,000 likes, folks. Let's get them. Let's get moving on that. 1,000 likes and 4 people are getting shirts. Unbelievable. Dutchie's so generous. Our whole community is generous.
It's awesome.
Real Steve Jensen, $20 super chat. Regarding the Musqueam land rights, I don't think the feds have the authority to sign any new treaties since the 1930 Land Transfer Act, giving land and resource control to the provinces and would be their responsibility for new treaties. I'm not so sure. Again, that's something I don't want to comment on it because the lefties are so quick to hit this channel with misinformation. And it affects all of our future videos. So I would hope that's the case. I guess we'll just see as time goes on.
Yeah, this is still, like I said, uncharted waters.
Yep. Brad Wilcox, the $2 super chat. I signed up as a canvasser. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're doing God's work. Godspeed to you in getting your signatures. Trish coming through with a $7 super chat. Carney's going to use this. You'll own nothing and be happy. Hopefully not. Hopefully he doesn't. Puma Lee coming in with a $2 super chat. 100% mobile canvasser in Lacombe County.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you for doing your work for Alberta independence. Really appreciate it. We've got Matt coming in with a $5 super chat. I sent the map of what was just signed away to your Discord so you can pull it up. Yeah, we had the map on an earlier video, but people have a pretty good understanding, I think. But Matt, I appreciate the super chat. Jay Fish, $5 super chat as well. All this does is create anger and make a 1994 Rwandan incident likely. I don't know if it goes that far, but it definitely isn't going to help things.
It definitely stirs the pot. That's for sure. At the same time, I mean, I'm kind of glad it's happening now because whatever comes out of this, let's just get it over and done with.
Yeah. Chris says, I'm in Yuma, Arizona, signed last month. Thank you so much. I'm going to start posting some of the photos Rise of Alberta has been putting up. Puerto Vallarta has signing locations now. I believe there's one in Florida. There's another one that's going to happen in Arizona as well, I believe. So, guys, I'll be updating you all in our posts section under the YouTube channel. If you're out of town or if you're well, I shouldn't say out of town, if you're out of province, out of the country and want to sign.
A sidebar to that, the US and now Mexico petition signings is the greatest way to trigger the Forever Canada elbows people I have ever seen. The rage bait, the comebacks for that, beautiful.
Absolutely. Steve Jensen coming in with another $5 super chat. Eastern Elbozos, this is coming to Ontario and Quebec as soon as they have large swaths of unceded land. We'll see again, right? Like Mike says, uncharted territory. So let's see what happens, I guess.
I think it was just outside the Gatineau Hills, like right on the other side of Ottawa. There's a large chunk there that they're contesting as well. So I mean, it's gonna pop up all over the place.
So one thing I want to get into before Adam joins us, because we do have to talk about Alberta independence. We have to talk about the signature for the petition for signatures. Getting tongue-tied already. I got an email from one of our viewers earlier this week. I won't share their name because I don't know if they want it public. But they sent me an email stating that they're a little worried about the petition. Now, I do have to mention where they got their information from, and it's not a stab at them because I consider this person a friend and a colleague, but this viewer was watching PJ the Belt, and there was a video shown of somebody in there, and I don't know who this person is, so forgive me if there's somebody who's well known in the social media crowd. But they said that they're going around, they're shaking hands, they're meeting people, and they're hearing people saying, oh, we think we have this in the bag. There's no need to sign. You know, signatures aren't going to be allowed to go past the end of March because of the lawsuit with First Nations. So he says, you know, if you haven't signed yet, it'd be a good idea to get out there and sign because I don't think we have the numbers, or something along the lines of, wouldn't it be terrible if we fell underneath the 177,000 required signatures? So the person who messaged me, the person who emailed me said, you know, I'm seeing that on PJ's channel. I'm seeing it elsewhere as well. I'm seeing it all over social media. You see all the naysayers saying that you're never going to have enough signatures. I think we need to give a little boost over to what's happening because that is not the case when it comes to independence. When you look at, a lot of people say that when you saw the large lines that had formed around Red Deer, Calgary, other areas when this first began, even in Edmonton that Mike and I did the live stream of in Rundle Park. I mean, the reason those lines existed was because everybody was so eager to sign and there were so few canvassers. In fact, we saw a number of canvassers at that Rundle Park event that were just there taking it in saying, like, we don't even have our credentials yet. we're still waiting to get out there. Now that we have just over 7,500 canvassers, if everybody got 100 signatures, which really isn't a lot, folks, 100 signatures, if you're going door to door, it's not going to be that tough. That's 750,000 signatures.
I agree. When you look at the sheer number and volume of essentially the army that we have created of canvassers, and like I said, the nice thing is I love the canvassers because I love seeing that stuff on X and so the other social media platforms, how genuinely thrilled people are of getting their badges. And the guys, you got to get out there, you got to do the work. And even if you get one signature, I mean, it counts, and you just got to put the legwork in. But it's seeing the pride in people just getting that badge and saying, "Hey, I'm part of a movement here. I'm part of history, and I'm doing my part." And it is the most comforting and the most uplifting thing you can ever see. So if anybody's out there who's canvassing and putting in the work, like, God bless you guys, because you're creating history and you're going to make this happen. When it comes to the signatures, I have no doubt in my mind we're going to defeat the 170, whatever the heck signatures it is. There's not a doubt in my mind. The problem is, guys, this is strictly a battle. It was like any military campaign. This is a battle of hearts and minds. You got to get out there and you got to pump it. You got to constantly pump it. And the thing is that there are so many people on the fence, the milquetoast people and stuff like that you really do need to talk to your neighbors and have them over for coffee. I know the weather kind of sucks right now, but that just proves the resolve of people just going out there and doing the work. So it's a joint, even if you're not a canvasser, just have a talk with your neighbors, bring people to sign. I brought the old man, I brought the wife, we all went out there, and this is truly how we're going to make this movement happen. And we got to overwhelm it. So anybody who says, "Oh, I'm not going to sign because we're going to have our numbers and stuff like that," I mean, you're not helping the situation. Get out there and put the work in.
So Carnage Carney came in as a member for 18 months. Too big to rig. It's a slogan. It's not a slogan. It's a fact. And that is the truth. It's the reason I wanted to talk about this isn't because, again, I don't have some secret agenda against PJ the Belt. I don't, because PJ, again, offered his words of encouragement to those within the province of Alberta that are trying to petition for us to get ahead. We're bringing it up because I don't want this to be a low point for anybody when they hear about the First Nations lawsuit, when they hear about what's going on, or say, "Hey, you know what? I saw John Bolton out." Somebody sent me an email saying I saw John Bolton bringing coffee to canvassers out in Southeast Calgary over the weekend. Nobody was there signing. Is this the end of it? Are we losing our numbers? What you're going to see on social media is all the negativity. I mean, Mike does such a good job of showing that on the channel every week. All the El Bozos losing their minds and seething over what's happening right now. They're still trying to cancel events. They're still pressuring Danielle Smith for allowing the petition to take place in general. The one thing you got to remember when all this comes on, folks, and it's the same thing I've been saying from day one, is this is who's in control of that narrative. This is who's telling you you can't get ahead. You can't leave. You can't get the signatures. We're not going to allow this referendum to move forward. We're federalists. It goes on, right? What was it? Barton said last week, "Oh, it's all made up anyway." And we know that. So this is another reminder not to give in to the hype when it comes to the distractions that are going to be online with people saying, "Oh, it's over, it's done," or even if you talk to people who say, I don't think I'm going to sign because I've seen the lineups, I've seen people out there, I know we have enough signatures to get through. There's a real crucial point that comes in when it comes to getting these signatures, folks, and that's the message that is sent. So if we get around the 177,000 signatures, all that's going to happen, anything less than 600,000, you're going to see the left, Tom Lukaszuk, the Forever Canada folks, all those people turning around saying, so you needed Danielle to lower the bar in order for you guys to get in. I knew it. You don't have enough people for this movement, et cetera, et cetera. And the next couple of months campaigning for the referendum vote in October is going to be downpoured on by the left, essentially saying that we don't have legs in this movement. If we get above 600,000, it starts to look good. It starts to look like, hey, we actually have some legs in this race. But I'll tell you what, folks, if we do what Mitch and Jeff are requesting, if we get over 1 million signatures, that's the point when we know that we're winning this battle, and we can not really rest on our laurels, but sit back and start saying, now we got to get that last little push, because now Ottawa is going to be watching.
then the
Now-
fight really starts. If we hit the 700, 800,000 signatures, that's when we cross the Delaware and the game is on.
Yeah.
I'm beyond excited for everyone that's going out. I know I'm in talks right now with one of the big groups at Calgary University to do a Change My Mind event. I'll probably drag Derek in there, and it's gonna be good. The thing is that if we can generate this amount of just talk, like even just showing all the crazies online, now they've started deleting all those posts and stop posting that stuff because they've said in the comments they're resharing this on other platforms and it makes us look bad.
Yeah,
so we're winning.
absolutely.
We are 100%
Absolutely.
winning, people.
I've got a few honorable mentions to get out of the way. Then we got to get on to douche of the week, and then bring in our guest Adam Soos. I feel bad. Adam's waiting in the green room for us. So let's get this out of the way. Jess coming in from Grand Prairie. I'm assuming that's what GP is. Visit Stay Free Alberta for signing locations open daily in your area. Absolutely. We try to mention that on every live stream. Again, under how do I sign as soon as you go to that website. Thank you for the super chat on that. Trish with a 279 super chat also signed up as a canvasser today. Very happy. Thank you, Trish, for doing your part with this movement. Carnage Carney, we've got that one before. Again, too big to rig. It's not a slogan, it's a fact. Real Steve Jensen coming in with a $5 super chat. Turnout was up today at Whistle Stop. Many people coming in to say thank you for putting in the hours. I'm very happy to hear that. Shout out to Chris for all the work he's doing up there as well. Alberta Pin coming in, and wear your pin. There's Alberta Pin. Guys, give some love over to Alberta Pin and thank him again for allowing us to use those amazing new designs in our store. Go grab your shirts now. Thank you for the super chat. Carson becoming a member for 18 months. First time live stream viewer. Bullshit. Come on. Let's hit 1,000. All right. Thank you, Carson. I appreciate you. Bradley Wilcox, $2 super chat. You guys need to get Marty up north on your show. That's not going to happen anytime soon. How do we say this?
Simeon?
I always say Simeon, but I don't know. A member for 3 months. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing it because there's a super chat as well. I've been driving to people's home. I think that's what it is as well.
Yeah.
I've been driving to people's homes to have them sign the petition. Door knocking will commence soon. So happy to hear that. Thank you for updating us. Keep up the good fight. Feisty Fry becoming a new member of the Patriots Club as well. Thank you so much for that, guys. You guys are just out of control tonight.
Fired up tonight. It's the independence.
You're going to get more fired up. Mike, before we bring in Adam, it's time for douche of the week. Let's get it going.
Come on. Really? Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
That's what we need to do, is support each other.
Douche of the week.
You're having way too much fun with your mixer. All right, guys, if you're not putting up what we're putting down, picking up what we're putting down, it is the douche of the week, the time of the week where we talk about who really decided to anger us on the old social media this week. This is a twofer. This is a twofer. But first,
we got a double douche.
Yeah, we got a double douche this week. First things first, involving the Iran war. First nominee is Heather McPherson, NDP leader hopeful. Sadly, I don't think she's going to win. Not crazy enough. I think it's going to be Ari. With everything that's happening in the Iran situation right now, I mean, it is basically to the point of shit show, if you will. She had some pretty spicy tweets this week that I was questioning if all the cylinders were firing in the old brain. Okay. Friend of the show, Jack, brought this up. Okay, so she's like, today's attack on Iran by the United States and Israel is a serious violation of international laws. No, it's not. What else we got? New Democrats support Iranians fighting for justice. NDP critic, the Foreign Affairs, Heather McPherson, made the following statement. After the horrific murder of, this one was 2022, but she's basically saying the same thing. I know the National Roast, awesome channel if you guys watch. NDP Heather McPherson calls out moment of silence to honor beloved and inspiring Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Yeah, the videos pouring out of Iran's party in the streets of Tehran for the news of the murder of the dictator. And then meanwhile, you've got Avi Lewis and Heather McPherson are expressing outrage at the operation and saying that it violates Iran's sovereignty. I mean, seeing the protests in Ottawa Edmonton, everywhere that's going on right now. I mean, you're definitely on the wrong side of history when it comes to this. Now, as for someone that did serve in kind of one of the forever wars, hopefully this is just a quick operation. They can bring some nice freedom to the people. But sweetheart, you're definitely on the wrong side of history for this one.
Oh. So this isn't real, is it? Is this real?
This is the roast at its finest. But essentially, I'm not going to go through all the
AI.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go through all the tweets, but you guys get the picture. So for that, Heather McPherson, for being on the wrong side of history, you are this week's Freedom Honey Douche of the Week. That's Mike approved, Derek approved, the Fringe approved, and we'll go from there. Now, I know this is one you've wanted for a while, Derek. Let's go get it out here. This is one of your beefs. All right, second nominee for this week, we got Mark Slapinski, the man that never missed a highlight.
Wow, and Guy Fieri.
Yeah. I mean, just the highlights. It's just too much. It's too much. I'm gonna let you break this one down, but memorable posts.
Highlights are just all the cat piss that gets put in his hair. I think that's what it is.
Memorable post. Remember when the Freedom Convoy losers lectured us on how much they love Canada? Now almost every of these person is a Trump supporter. Trudeau's right about these people. This is a guy that went off the derangement, like how would I say, like the cliff. You know, he started off conservative, pro Polyev, pro CPC and all this stuff. And in the last, I'd say like 3 or 4 months, maybe even longer, has really gone to the level of batshit crazy. Now
didn't he call for the execution of people for not getting the jab during the pandemic?
Yes, he did. What was this one? Trump should invoke, if Trump invokes Article 5, Canada should round up all the Trump supporters and send them to Iran. Seems fair. I'm like, yeah. Good job, Slapinski.
There it is. There's every time I see this, I had to mute Mark just because of this all the time. I might lose followers, but he's a rage farmer. That's all he is. But here's the problem I had. So a good friend of mine, Jasmine Lane, over the past year, I've been the target of repeated harassment, sexual objectification, and defamatory false claims made by Mark Slapinski. This has included the use of manipulated clips, misleading narratives, and dehumanizing commentary, much of which has conveniently been deleted after monetization periods on X. If you have screenshots or archived copies of any deleted posts where my name, image, or content was used in this manner, I'd appreciate you sending it. Sounds to me like a lawsuit's in the makings for old Slappy, and I hope so. I hope he gets what he deserves.
I love on his profile, he considers himself one of the foremost conservative pundits in Canada, and I'm just like, no one likes you. I'm like, literally, you're just a rage farmer.
If that's a conservative, I don't want any part of it. Listen, Heather McPherson, Mark Slappy, you've been called out. You're this week's double douche on Douche of the Week.
Go ahead and call your dads, tell them about your alternative lifestyle as a gay communist. And then, who knows, maybe eat a lollipop. I don't know what flamers do with their time, but I'd imagine it's something along those lines.
All right, there we go, guys.
A double douche this week. That's heavy.
A double douche. Somebody I've been waiting to bring into the show. Let's get him. We don't want to make him wait any longer. Adam Soos. Adam, how are you, man? Welcome.
I'm great. Show. How are you doing? How you been?
Hey, good, man. It's good to have you on finally.
Finally.
Now, guys, if you've wondered where Adam's been, because Adam, you used to be a regular on Rebel News, but now you're doing some work with Theo these days. Why don't you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, it's great. I've pretty much had more sort of, rather than going out into the field, the opportunity to have sort of longer form conversations. So we've got episodes anywhere from 20 minutes to we've had a few that have been a couple hours with some veterans, but some sit down long form conversations, the bulk of which are available. We put them out, frankly, if you just go to my X at ATSOS, you'll be able to view all that content. It's funny because there's the whole game of shadow bans and everything that's going on out there. The amount of people are like, oh, I've been looking for your work, and they follow me. We're sharing it, but to get people to be able to see that content. And Mike's been on. We've had some amazing guests.
Yes, every now and then you bring on a spicy beekeeper just to shake it up. I do want to take the opportunity. Yeah, speaking of the shadow ban, your show is probably one of the most hated shows on YouTube. I mean, you guys get the red flag constantly. Not for having those conversations that need to be happen. I mean, you're not afraid to talk about the spicy stuff, and you're not afraid to push the limit. I really respect you for doing that. And like I said, we've been friends for a while, and I really admire the work you do because you're pushing the envelope and you're not afraid. Now, you've had such an amazing plethora of guests, guys. Check them out. I mean, the conversations, everything from doctors to journalists to pundits to spicy beekeepers and everything in between. And right when we're talking about Alberta independence, I know you've kind of brought it up before, and people that are kind of big in the movement. What is the general, what's the feedback you're getting?
Yeah, well, we've had some. I mean, I think you and I talked about it. Tarek Alnaga has been on to talk about it. Corey Morgan. I just had Jeff Rath on. That episode will be out in the next couple of weeks here. So we've kind of had sort of a good cross section of the who's who of folks sort of weighing in on this issue. I mean, clearly something has to change. Like the wherever you sit on this issue, and I often, as you know, my style, despite the fact that I'm willing to have conversations on any issue, I don't try and burn bridges. I am trying to reach out to people. So for folks on maybe the other side of this issue, if you check out some of those conversations, we're not just sort of rah-rahing Alberta independence. We're asking questions, seeing what's going to happen, asking sort of the detailed questions about what is this going to look like? How can this really work? What does this mean? But listen, wherever you sit on this issue, the deal Alberta's getting right now is not fair. I've used this metaphor before. I'll use it again. It's like an abusive relationship, and you absolutely are just like locked into this bad relationship if you aren't seeing that something's wrong. Now, I don't think that people necessarily have to go Alberta independence is the only solution. I think maybe along the way there were some alternatives, but it's interesting. The interesting point for me is that when Quebec talks about independence, look at the response they get from the rest of Canada. It's here's support. What can we do for you? If Alberta independence does go all the way, it'll be because Albertans are fed up. But I mean, ultimately, you look at the response from Eastern Canada, you look at the response even from people in Alberta, in Edmonton, and they're basically like either denying that there's any momentum here, or they're telling people, well, you can't leave anyways. Like it's a complete opposite of the response that Quebec and other people come. And frankly, people in Alberta, we're happy to chip in. We're happy to help our neighbors. We've been paying more than our fair share for a long time. It's gotten to like such a point of abuse that people are just so sick of it. And that's why this is sort of reaching a boiling point, in my opinion. And again, this is the sentiment that's been shared by many of my guests.
I've kind of noticed the same. So like when I first moved to Calgary, that was in the mid 90s. And one of my close friends, his father was a partner with an engineering firm in Calgary that went by Colt Engineering. They later became AMEC, I believe it was. But there was a lot of, no matter who you talk to in the oil and gas industry, there was always like a handful of people that would always say, I'm so sick of us sending this money to Quebec. But as a partner, he always turned around and said, hey, as long as we've got the work, who cares? Because we're all Canada. We're all part of one country. We just want to help everybody out and make things work. But it seems like, kind of like you mentioned with the difference between Quebec to Alberta, there's always been this vitriol against Alberta, especially when you look back even at early interviews of Justin Trudeau in French saying, we don't want Alberta, or whatever it is he said.
If we got rid of Alberta, that would solve half our problems, basically.
There it is. There it is. And that's where this has been a long time coming, especially with the treatment of his father. Are you surprised to see the movement gaining as much as it is, or did you think maybe people wanted at first maybe more of what Danielle Smith's talking about, being more like Quebec, and now it's just kind of gone in the other direction?
So I think Danielle Smith is trying to do her best. I mean, and maybe it's just to placate this group, but like trying to give them something while still appealing to her sort of middle pseudo conservative base. So I think that there is sort of an effort there, but I'm not surprised to see that those efforts aren't sort of completely undermining the movement, because I think people are more informed now. I think people used to be politically apathetic. They were proud to be Albertan, but they were also happy to see that Canadian flag. I mean, it's hard not to cheer when they're playing in the Olympics or whatever. But I think that there's been a clear shift where people are like, well, wait a minute, things are getting tighter and tighter. Things are getting worse and worse. And realistically, when you look at it, push come to shove, like we're the only place with a growing GDP, the only province. Everyone is moving here. The other provinces are losing population. So in practice, like the majority of Canadians know that Alberta is doing better and that we should be following Alberta's model. But the response that we get is like, oh, you're just a bunch of backwards rednecks and you can't do anything right. And when your economy's a bit low, we're not going to sort of reverse and fix this equalization mechanism. None of that is happening. So, I mean, what's happening now is sensible. What is surprising to me, though, is the folks, even people like I talk to people here in Alberta who are like reasonably level-headed people, but they aren't particularly political. Like they aren't really invested in this. And they're like, well, I'm leaving the minute it happens and I'm a loyal Canadian and forget about Alberta. I'm like, well, if you're a loyal Canadian, you should be talking to the Canadians who are treating Alberta like this, because this is a symptom of being abused by a system and being abused by a raw deal for this amount of years. The majority of people who are coming to this aren't active political people. They're people who are like, wait a minute, like I'm struggling to pay my bills. Things are getting worse and worse. Meanwhile, we should have a giant slush fund and roads paved with gold. We should look like Dubai, but instead we're paying bills for the rest of the country, a country that can't even say thank you when we pick up the tab.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me to what I was going to kind of ask earlier, because Tamara Leach recently did a speech that I was paying attention to with the Rebel News event around Alberta alongside Corey Morgan. And she had said that when the Freedom Convoy went through from Alberta to Manitoba especially, she said she took notice with all the people on overpasses, the Canadian flags, everybody out in full droves. She left the Maverick Party of Alberta, which was essentially a separation party, to fight for Canadian rights again. And her opinion had kind of changed on her way down to Ottawa that, hey, maybe we're starting to see the Canada that's been buried. We're starting to see what the real Canada is coming out in droves. This makes me feel nostalgic. It brings back that old feeling of the Canada of yesteryear. But she says the way the government reacted to the Freedom Convoy, the way that they brought out the emergency acts and treated the peoples, freezing bank accounts, everything else. She says that was kind of the final nail that in her mind made it official that this country, not just Alberta, but the country itself is far beyond repair. I mean, what do you make of that?
I mean, a lot of those, let's be honest, a lot of those folks in Ottawa were from Alberta. That was like a prairie style protest. No doubt people from all the way across the country, but I think per capita, it's probably pretty easy to estimate that Western sort of Canada, the provinces, or the prairie provinces rather, were a big contingent of that. Listen, I consider Justin Trudeau to be one of the most successful politicians in the history of Canada. In that, I mean, when he started, he said Canada will be a post-national state. He succeeded in that mission. He's destroyed Canadian identity. I don't think, to be candid, and maybe this isn't a good thing, because maybe Alberta's been getting a really bad deal, and it's good that, like Mike said, this ugliness is coming to the surface. But I don't think if we had even a semi-sensible Liberal government, which I know is rare, but compared to Trudeau, like everything fell off a cliff with Trudeau and with Carney. Carney's a little more polished with it, but it's the same thing. If we would have had an okay conservative government or a tolerable Liberal government, I don't think things would have gotten this bad. I think it's those events when the people who exhibited the most Canadian values, who stood up, who waved the flags, who said we're fighting for something here, when the government, and by the way, this is now confirmed, my interview last week was with John Carpe, upon repeated review, the government acted in a way, the government that was reelected, the government led by Carney, formerly by Trudeau, that's advancing in the polls, the top court in this country ruled that they acted unlawfully, unreasonably, and unconstitutionally. So the people who were fighting for Canada, people today on social media have been saying, I thought these people were pro-Canadian. I thought these people were standing up for Canadian values. Well, they were. I don't think Alberta has abandoned Canadian values. I think the rest of the country has. Like, realistically, if you want to talk about being fair, taking care of each other, advancing each other's industries, all of those things, those are all Canadian values. But the only place doing that right now is Alberta.
You know what? I couldn't put it any better. At the end of the day, I look at it this way: we didn't fail the country failed us. I think when you looked at the convoy and you looked at the kind of people that went there, that was the bread and butter prairies, Albertans. You know what I mean? That was the truth. And watching the response, the vitriol, the attacks, how Tamara and Chris were treated, how they're still going after, the lawsuits are still happening. It will not end. They use the example to try to have their January 6th moment, and they just kept going and going and going. It ended up being us versus them. And now all of that boiling to the surface, that tension, everything we saw, the failed elections again and again. And, at this point, it's like, what's the point? Is it better to stay? Is it better to go? Do we keep living under the boot and kissing the ring? Or do we try and forge something new and greater? And even if we fail, at least we tried. Because at the end of the day, it's live under the boot, try to do something else. If you fail, you go back to living under the boot. Nothing changes.
Yeah, and I want to say before I came on, you had the sort of graphic with all the sort of media government group. Even this event. I mean, we saw it during COVID. This is nothing new. I mean, I covered a number of events where the mainstream media would come and I would stay for the entire event. They'd show up for 3 minutes. What they would report is the opposite of the event. It's the same thing with this Alberta independence movement. If you go out to these events and talk to the people, they're the most lovely people. I mean, sure, you might run into the odd brash person. That's going to happen. But generally, these are the most positive people. If you talk to them respectfully, they're probably going to have a good conversation about why they think it's better for Alberta. They're not going to be yelling at you. They're not going to be shouting. But this is the level of political activism that, since other than COVID, pretty much is unprecedented, certainly in Alberta, potentially in the country. And the mainstream media, they cover like a one-off, like always a part of Canada protest with all this positive language, as though that's the real movement, when the majority of people, I mean, that's a flash in the pan. There is massive and actual grassroots activism around this issue. Whatever you think about it, these are real people who are really concerned. And I mean, the media needs to do a better job I mean, you don't have to agree with them. I, as a media person, though, I obviously comment on things and I have opinion, I don't try to become too activist in the matters themselves. I like having other people share their opinions. I ask important questions. I think that's my job as a journalist. But the mainstream media, they have become so absolutely corrupt, and they're not there to share a story. They're there to make a point. And I mean, that's not what I mean, journalism, commentary, there's a space for that, but that's not what they're branding themselves as. They're branding themselves as the news, and they're anything but.
Yeah, Adam, that's one thing I've always liked about you. You've always said it like it is. You never really took a side. You just wanted to tell people stories and kind of just put light to the situation, to be able to show both sides of the fence. And I mean, I think that's why I'm glad you're here, is because with, like I said, with the very diverse group of people that you've interviewed over the past few years, you really get to see the different political sides, and basically also the issues that are involved, the issues involving the regular people. Mm-hmm. This movement that's happening is true. It's got that Freedom Convoy vibe all to it in regards to it being a grassroots movement. You know, we call them the leaders, whatever. It's a couple of lawyers and a doctor. Like it's we're not politician led. We're a couple of YouTube pundits and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a bunch of people talking, but 99% of the work is done by people out there having these conversations. So I think that's got to keep happening to, like, everyone in the chat right now. I mean, it comes down to you guys just having those conversations and saying, hey, is this the treatment we keep wanting to have, or do we fight for something better?
Yeah. And if I may, like, when you're having those conversations out there, I know people are passionate. One of the most effective sort of apologetic strategies, and this is what I like to do, is like ask questions. When you're having those conversations, like, I mean, if you're with somebody who's an Alberta independence minded person and you're just saying, like, we're getting a raw deal, let's get out of here, you can have that argument. When you're with people who are maybe on the fence, instead of saying, well, equalization isn't fair, maybe present a fact about equalization and ask them what they think about that. Yeah. Like, do you think this is fair? What do you think a better solution is? How can we fix that? Let people sort of use the example of parables, where people they internalize what you're asking them, and then they come to the correct conclusion themselves. Because if you believe this is the just cause, just ask questions, let people talk themselves to it. Because I know people will inevitably clip or pull the one sort of clip of someone looking angry and yelling about it or whatever. No, just ask questions, let people sort of convince themselves. Because I mean, you lure more in with honey than vinegar. So let's not. I mean, I'm saying that because you're here, but you're the expert on that front. But yes. If I can offer any advice to folks out there, have conversations rather than talking at people. Talk with them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing Keith Wilson had said in one of his speeches when he was doing a debate over the summer, is that it's best to talk with people and actually ask the questions of, hey, do you realize even the amount of money that's under our feet? Like, what would we do with that money if we could keep that for ourselves? I've often had the conversations recently with teaching staff, that are upset about the amount of teachers in classrooms, the resources, the buildings of schools. Well, if we were to vote for independence, and let's say that those $16 billion alone that we give to Quebec every year stayed here, how many schools could we build with those billions of dollars? How many teachers could we hire? What kind of classrooms could we get you? If immigration was stopped, how many students would that leave per classroom? It starts to really form that independence isn't necessarily just about money, but it's about the needs of Albertans that are being completely ignored by bureaucracy and red tape. So given that, Adam, when you look at what's happening in BC right now with this announcement of land titles. We've got First Nations now going to court with Danielle Smith over the, I guess, allowing of this petition to move forward. Where do you kind of like, BC started their own prosperity movement. Saskatchewan has theirs. Alberta's obviously moving forward with ours. Preston Manning has always pushed for like a Western alliance. Do you think this could be the start of that, or where do you see things moving from here?
Yeah, well, to speak to the sort of the indigenous narrative, I mean, these are the folks who perpetrated the Kamloops hoax in order to get rich. I've had Frances Widdowson on twice now. Once it was one of my first interviews, and once again recently after her arrests. She uses the term Aboriginal industry, where basically people are so afraid to talk about indigenous issues, which, by the way, is why there's carcinogenic water and these people are suffering and living in third world standards while in Canada, because white privileged folks are too scared to talk about them for fear of being called racist or whatever it is. Listen, exhibiting genuine concern and wanting the very best for a community that has lived here longer than most of our ancestors have, that's a positive thing. That's actually the opposite of racism. Not being willing to talk about it because you're so scared, that is a form of racism. But listen, people who are saying we cannot leave because of a bunch of First Nations treaties, my interview in a week or two, that'll be out with Jeff Rath, we get into the logistics of this, but there are sort of constitutional elements for if these provinces are going to separate, how those treaties have to be renegotiated. It's like pre-written there. It's the same thing as an exit strategy for the pension. When we joined the pension, there was basically a conversation. Well, what happens if you want to leave? There's a formula there. All of this fear mongering about that is not valid. There's nothing to it. But let's look at the Indigenous population here in Alberta. It is roughly 6.8% of the population. But I want to be clear. People are saying, well, 6.8%, they should have a right. They're falsely assuming that all Indigenous people are going to vote with the same mindset, which Indigenous people are signing the Alberta independence petitions.
Yep.
So you can't even say that. So let's say the majority of them are for remaining in Canada. So what, 4% of the country holds the entire, or of the province holds the entire province hostage? There's nothing democratic about that whatsoever. There has to be respect for the treaties that were signed on both sides, by the way. They can't retroactively claim land, and we can't retroactively take away their rights. Those agreements were signed, but we're not going to be hostage to 4% of the population or whatever it may be. But it's those attacks on individual rights. Someone who buys their home and puts everything into it, and then say, "Oh, actually, this isn't yours anymore." It's the same with firearms. I talk with MPs who are door knocking, and it's even with newcomers to Canada. In my mind, and I'm a firearms owner, but in my mind, it's like it isn't that big a percentage of the population. But when I talk to politicians, often the biggest concern they're hearing at the door, particularly MPs when they're door knocking, is like people from all backgrounds saying, well, why is the government taking my firearms rights away? Taking away people's homes, taking away their firearms rights, stripping their fundamental property rights that aren't as enshrined in Canada as they are in the United States. That's why people are saying enough is enough. This is ridiculous. I've worked hard for this. I've obeyed the laws. Why are you taking away what's rightfully mine?
Yeah, 100%. As a fellow gun owner, I feel you. You know what? This is wonderful. Okay, so I know like I said, you got Jeff coming up in a couple of weeks. I know this is a hot button issue. When it comes to the Adam Soos show, what else are you working on right now, man?
Oh, well, in the upcoming weeks here, like I said last week, the John Carpe sort of unconstitutional Emergencies Act was the episode. In the coming weeks, though, and go back, like go on my X, you'll be able to find it all. But in the coming weeks, we've got Chris Sims, because obviously, and this goes to the property rights and individual rights thing, the government trying to sort of advance a very helpful mechanism that automatically does your taxes for you, which nobody wants. So Chris Sims is going to be talking about how problematic that is. Obviously, they push it off as this, oh, it's just to help people who don't have the means to do this. Well, it's a very slippery slope, as we've seen with firearms. Pretty quickly, your taxes are automated and you're not able to do work through sort of responsible tax folks and get as little money as you can into the hands of the government. I also have Mike Jamieson on, who's an elected official here. He was on just before the election, and he beat a quite woke candidate for Calgary Municipal Council by about 80 votes. and hundreds of thousands of people watched our interview. So it's pretty easy to make the correlation there that a bunch of conservatives saw that and voted that way. So that's a pretty sort of strong case for the impact that independent media can have. So he's one of the folks sort of fixing the situation in Municipal City Hall. That'll be out in a little while. As I mentioned, Jeff Rath coming up. We've also got Shane Wenzel of Shane Homes coming up. I've had him on previously. He's specifically talking as a gay man and a business owner about sort of how the gay pride movement has been hijacked from like a libertarian leave us alone thing into this activist monolith. So to see someone as well sort of respected in the community and a business leader come out and strongly talk about that issue is refreshing. So yeah, lots of big conversations coming up. I think we have 60 or 80 episodes out already. So go check them out.
Congratulations.
So where can people find your work and put your socials up, man? Let's so we get some eyeballs.
Honestly, X is the best bet. We put everything up there in full. Again, with some of these other networks with the bands and stuff, we're going to relaunch a YouTube with just my show on it, so people can find that, because it's just there's like the craziest shadow bans and strikes on accounts, predominantly dating from the topic we're not allowed to talk about from about 5 years ago, which I won't say on your channel, so don't get you guys in trouble.
Okay. I appreciate
but
it.
yeah, we'll be starting a YouTube up soon, so people can access that directly. But honestly, every episode I've done is on my X. You can click media, scroll back through, and you'll be able to find all those there easily.
Well, buddy, that's beautiful work.
Just to refresh, that's at
AT Soos.
AT Soos.
Yeah,
I think there it is. Yep. It's so much easier when we follow each other, because then it just pops right up, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's bring that up, guys. At AT Soos. If you guys want to check Adam out, just like he mentioned over here on the media tab, all of his stuff is under here. All of his shows, his interviews. You'll want to check that out. Adam's always been an amazing journalist. I watched him religiously when he was over at Rebel. Now doing his own thing, and I commend you for that, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight on The Fringe, and hopefully we'll see you back on again soon.
Yeah, happy to come back anytime.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. Take care, Adam. Have a great night. Adam Soos, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Soos. Oh, who doesn't love Adam? He's a great guy, great journalist. Like I said, I used to watch him when he was with Rebel, and I think now that he's doing his own thing, it's really going to open doors for him, because he's got some great opinions. He's got some great stories by the looks of it to talk about. I watched his interview with you, Mike. I thought that was a fantastic interview.
It was a little spicy.
Go check him out. Go check him out. Yeah.
And you're having too much fun with that soundboard, by the way.
Hey, listen, the viewers help pay for it. We got to make sure we're utilizing everything. Let's get some honorable mentions.
Yeah. Speaking of super chats.
Well, here's the thing. When guests are on, I never like waving them around. It feels kind of bougie to me, or like a flex. So let's get those out of the let's get them moving. Feisty Fry becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. JP Alberta Verse. Wow, $50 super chat. Thank you so much. The people on the stay side are the issue that are going through the 5 stages of grief. Right now they're in denial, hence the mockery and the position that we aren't allowed to do it. This is true for those in Alberta or elsewhere in Canada. Very good point, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Eventually the acceptance phase will come in, and it'll come in hopefully before October. Hopefully. Brad Wilcox, $2 super chat. Me and my family are struggling so bad it's time to go. God, I hate hearing that, but hopefully a solution's on the way. Thank you for the super chat. Puma Lee, $2 super chat. Just ordered my 5XL black and gold hoodie. Can't wait. I can't wait for you to get it either. Guys, tag me if you're on X when you get those in with a photo. Let's get them out on the socials. I'm gonna sleep in mine. Is what's gonna happen.
They look great. I gotta be honest. I think they look great. They look great. Or as Peter Griffin would say, oh my God, they're awesome. Real Steve Jensen, member for 3 months. Thank you so much. The New Canadian Conversation, great knowledge on Alberta, BC history and movement in Alberta. Great historian. Thank you so much. God, we get such good guests on the show. I don't know if you guys know this. Mike does all the work for that, which is exactly why I brought him onto this show. I think he was very
just because of the people I know and the people that like me.
because I think that Mike's got what it takes, and we had this chat just before New Year's, and I said, Mike, you're so underseen on X or anything else. Let's get you moving. Let's bring you on the fringe. Let's get you out there for the public.
Oh, wait till I start
this
putting
is
the
why.
sexy beekeeping videos up. Then I'm sure
There
the
you
viewership
go.
will go up or down. We'll see.
They'll pop in. Tony Shaw with a $10 super chat. Thank you for the hoodie. Where can I get those flags? Those beautiful. Where does he get those beautiful toys? Let's go. AlbertaPin.ca. You can head over and order your 3x5 flags right now. Mike, you said that Alberta Pin was making car flags.
Yeah, so he's
as
going to do
well?
like the little ones for the car and stuff like that. Mark was going on all day, but like he's like, we're going to expand to this and this and this. So it's exciting because, like I said, this is him and his son doing this, and like friend of the show Corey Morgan brought up, guys, you got to fly them flags. We got to have a U.S. level of Alberta patriotism, where like every house will just be draped. The black and gold, of course, symbolizing that black gold that we're sitting upon. So it's beautiful. It's
and just like
gorgeous.
we mentioned earlier, folks, the new hoodies and shirts are in the store. Front, there's the back. The north stands free. These are gorgeous, and they turned out so well. We've even got, for anybody who came in late, we have the zip up hoodie as well with the same patterns. Go and grab them now. They're on sale for the first 48 hours. I believe the company we use has them for the first 48 hours on sale. Just a word of warning for anybody who's ordering them now, because I get this all the time from viewers. I try to mention it as often as possible. This is an American retailer. So if you're in Canada ordering these, they say it's tariffs. It's just duties and fees. We paid duties and fees on anything over $50 for as long as I can remember. So it's please don't assume that I'm trying to work with companies that want to take your money. This has always been the way it is. So just a heads up, if it's over $50, they do charge you a small fee for bringing it over the border. It's Mike, $5 super chat. How can anybody justify paying $2,500 a month in rent, but can't afford to buy a house? Make that make sense. That's one of the biggest problems I've got. For the longest time, they've been saying like when you go to the bank, the wife and I went through this about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we were first looking to get our own house. I'll say 15 years ago, because we had to save for a few years before we got our first home. Every time you go to the bank, they'd say, well, it only can be 30% of your disposable income in order for you to qualify for a mortgage or whatever. But mortgages were cheaper than what we were paying in rent.
Yeah.
And even though we had the down payment, they said, yeah, but you don't make enough residual income for us to say that it's okay. But we're paying more in rent, and we've been living in this place for 10 years. We've never missed a rent payment. I wish there was another way. It's so ridiculous how they do things.
You know what? It was the same way for me when I bought my first house. I actually didn't qualify, and it was like the ultimate test of being my fiance, well, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. That it was like, hey, like I know we've only been together for a couple of years, but I need a co-signer, and she reluctantly agreed. And it worked out, but it was the fact that even as a master corporal in the armed forces, they're like, and it wasn't even an expensive house. I think it was like $290,000, and they're like, oh, you don't make enough.
Crazy Legs has a good point here. If a liberal from the 80s came to the future in 2026, they'd be considered a conservative. If a 2026 liberal gone down to the 80s, they'd be living in insane asylums. That's a good way of looking at it, honestly, because look, I get it all the time. When you're talking about, there's times I put out videos where we talk about Pierre or we talk about the conservatives, and people say that they're just, right-leaning liberals. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the way they're seen sometimes by the public, because again, it shows up in our comment section. But it's a good analogy. Good analogy.
What happened was the Overton window had shifted so far, where the centrists, the moderates, the chrétien liberals, if you will, ended up now are so far to the left that even like the NDP look like they're completely batshit communists. And then you've got the liberals that are the leftist woke whack jobs, and even like a lot of the conservative policies are tending to go to the left. Where it's at some point Elon Musk put a tweet about it a couple of years ago, where it's like I sit here, which is the sanity area.
Yeah. Teresa with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I've had my car flags broken off my SUV twice now. I just keep buying more. I hate hearing this, but I love it at the same time, because this is how you know we're winning.
Absolutely.
This is how you know we're winning. They're so angry. They're so angry. Oh my God.
It's like children having a temper tantrum. It's all it is. They can't acknowledge that, hey, like at the end of the day, we're doing this for them too. It's going to benefit all of us. It's just
there's what's this Sylvester. I like the spelling of that. What's electricity? I pay a lot for it. Those are some of the things that are going to have to change. I wanted to pull that up because a lot of people talk about their utility bills in Alberta, alongside insurance, a lot of costs that come through because of the way things went in the early 2000s with our regulations. All of that changes with independence as well, because all of that would have to be restructured. So your utilities would be less expensive. Hopefully, we have to say hopefully. I can't guarantee those things, but your insurance would hopefully be a little bit less costly as well.
Well, they wouldn't put a carbon tax on your distribution.
Well, I don't believe they do put a carbon. Do they put a carbon tax on the distribution?
It was like natural gas or something like that. It was like there was the carbon tax ended up. Sorry, the carbon tax for natural gas was more than the distribution fee at my place.
Oh, okay. Because I've gone to just, I give them my credit card and they just charge it every month. So I don't actually look at the bill. I just look at what did they charge me this month. I was under the impression they came off the bills, but like this, man, your country sucks. That's why we want to leave.
But we're creating a new one. That's the point. It's in the ashes. We will create a new. This is the beauty of it.
You know, I got to be honest. I get a lot of heat from people that say, well, you hate Alberta or you hate Canada, you know, because now you're always talking about leaving. And it's kind of like what you and Adam were saying earlier, that this isn't really about, you know, us hating Canada. It's like Canada clearly hated Alberta for a long time. It's sad that it's come to this, and it's sad that you know, I never thought in a million years I'd be talking about let's vote to leave.
No,
I mean, how many years, Mike? You were with the military. You fought for the flag of this country.
I went to war for this country, you know, and
now you're ready to go.
And now we're at a point where it's like, you know what, and it's crazy the amount of vets that I see that are in the same boat. One of the big accounts that I follow on, decent sized account on X, the Albertarian. I mean, he was my old master warrant officer when I was in the army, and he's all in too. The for me, like the come to Jesus moment for me was when the medical assistance and dying stuff kicked up, and they were doing it to vets, and I was like, this is a country that's literally turned its back on those that have given everything.
Here's somebody. So we've talked about this a number of times.
Oh, the trolls.
You want independence. You need an Alexandria who will take you to the sea. So there's a number of ways we can get to the sea, my friend. And let me explain that for you. With British Columbia, now that their land has been taken hostage, if Alberta shut off the taps to British Columbia tomorrow, they would run out of fuel in 4 days. They have railways that they need to transport goods to the rest of Canada through Alberta, through an independent Alberta. Everybody says, you're landlocked. BC becomes landlocked if Alberta separates. And ultimately, they would have to work with the Republic of Alberta in order to get their goods and services pushed through to the rest of the country. We would have to work. Like, this is the funny thing that I always try to explain to people when they talk about how much better would things get? Well, nothing changes with Alberta. It's not like somebody picks it up and moves it somewhere else and says, okay, now you're on your own little continent and it's just Alberta. Nothing changes except for who manages the money and the laws. That's it.
Yeah. There's a lot of countries out there that are landlocked and still have access to tidewater. It's part of the United Nations agreements. And at the end of the day,
but not only that, they would have to work with like all the things Alberta wants would essentially be granted with independence. We would have to get a negotiation for a pipeline out to coastal waters. And if BC didn't want to work with us, hey, the Americans have already said they're prepared to, but they're going to want to work with us anyways because they'll want to move their goods and services through Alberta. So guys like David Eby aren't going to be saying anymore, no how, no way, we're not putting in a pipeline to BC. They'll be saying, okay, we'll put through the pipeline if you allow our rail to go through.
Yeah. Even if they wanted to get around us, like I worked in the rail industry, even if they wanted to get around us to go up through Northwest Territories, that would take decades. Like there is nothing slower putting in than a railroad. So, I mean, it's not going to happen.
I don't know about begging, but the U.S. is very eager to do business with Alberta. And unfortunately, you know, President Trump, he sees it too. He knows
come
about
on,
our
Keystone,
reserves.
baby.
Yep, Adam said it during the interview. We should be like Dubai, and instead we're one of, well, what is it? The whole country of Canada's more impoverished than what was it? Alabama. I think it is.
Yeah. Our GDP is lower than Alabama's.
That's so sad. And I've heard people saying that, you know, if you vote for independence, they're just going to flood it like they did with Quebec in the 90s, with migrants from around Canada that are going to vote against independence. Guys,
do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Yeah. I mean, we have the mountains to the west. I mean, do we build a wall? Is this in the budget? I mean, I got some redneck buddies of mine that are pretty good at building stuff, and then like the Heterites.
What you need in Alberta right now is a deal maker, okay? And the only person who could build a wall or do something would be me, okay? And what we need to do is build a wall around Alberta and have a big, beautiful door. And only people can come through it if they're going to come through legally, okay? I think that's what we need. I think we just need like that ice wall like in Game of Thrones, like this giant wall that just goes all the way around Alberta.
Derek's up top, like marching back and forth, just observing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yes, sir. It's like, is that a welding truck? Yeah, come on in.
Come on
Is
in.
is that 20 of your family, 20 kids, and you don't work? Yeah. No, Ontario is that way. Just you'd be like the keeper of the gate. We'll get you one of those like big pointed helmets and like the big spear. Yes.
Real Steve Jensen, $5 super chat. Rail costs about $1 million per mile in today's dollars. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's not possible. It's not possible. No. Wearing a parachute. No, I'd just stay up there. I wouldn't come down. I wouldn't come down.
It just have like a big horn.
I'd be doing all my lives up there. Welcome back to the Fringe. We're on guard duty tonight. Check it out. Hey, look at these people trying to get over the wall. They're gonna fall, by the way.
There with a fire hose. Nope. Sorry, guys.
Be a real shame if somebody just turned on this fire hose. Yeah, no, it's
we're gonna be ruthless.
Yeah. It would be crazy.
Good stuff. It's what needs to be.
Put some bulls at the border. I don't think we'll have to do that. I think, look, with all the lefties that are angry we're leaving, I think the problem's just going to take care of itself.
Yeah, we're so good at keeping the rats out. Trust me, it won't be hard.
If Alberta leaves, I'm moving. I'm leaving Alberta. Perfect.
Congratulations. The cost of houses have just dropped overnight.
Yep, and some problems just fix themselves. I guess that's not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah,
20 folks,
25-year-old kids are now affording homes.
I definitely think that when you look at independence, I think the possibility of independence is increasing all the time. Especially again, people were looking. I know we did the video today talking about BC, and I actually had a viewer get angry with me last week and say they were going to ask Stay Free Alberta not to associate with me anymore because I was talking about how people might get attacked and how there's people coming out trying to attack those who are signing the petition. The guy who offered the bullet to Mitch Sylvester, he says, all you're bringing out is negativity. Well, so you want mainstream media, but through YouTube. I like, you want me to lie to you? It's not going to happen, folks.
No. What you're doing is bringing awareness, and I think
and
it shows the derangement on the other side. The fact that these are the reactions that they're doing. If they thought we didn't have a shot in hell, they wouldn't do any of this. They would just sit back and be like, let them go have their little fun. But the fact that this movement's so big, there's so many people, everyone's energized. Like I said, the fact that I just see like random people's like, oh, I got a couple hours this afternoon. I'm going to go set up the truck or the car and start collecting signatures just to do whatever, just to kill some time. And it's a good way. And it's just, the fact that it's so fluid and people are seeing these pop-up locations everywhere. And it's just, like I said, the panic is real. So of course we're going to get the backlash. This is, like I said, once we get the signatures done, everything's talliated and that number hits them like a ton of bricks. Yeah. Then the panic will really start. This is just a taste. This is just a taste.
it's the reason we wanted to talk about this stuff tonight and about is gas running out of the independence movement. Absolutely not. The BC thing is just going to add more fuel to the fire. Every time Mark Carney slips up, it's more fuel to the fire. I mean, there's really nothing attractive that the government could offer Alberta right now that is greater than independence. And we've talked about that before.
Every deal Carney does, it's another Brookfield deal. At the end of the day, do you want to live in the Dominion of Brookfield or the free and independent sovereign awesomeness that is Alberta?
Now, what I can promise you here, folks, on this channel is that we will always bring you what we think is relevant, what's worth talking about when it comes to independence, truth. I'm not going to pad things for you guys. The reason for that, I always go back to my favorite Metallica lyric. The best way to secure peace is to prepare for war. We have to make sure we're ready when shit hits the fan. So onward and upwards. Yard Prep had this comment: you should repost Mitch Sylvester's PowerPoint presentation. Freedom Calendar has a good 30-minute cut from it from Calgary. Everyone needs to share it with the fence sitters. I will look into that. Sorry, I've been out and around today. I haven't. You're full of it, dude.
Yes, full of everything.
Full of independence.
Loving every moment of it. This is what happened. I love the naysayers. It's just it's never gonna happen. So you guys are.
It's never gonna happen.
I hear it from my parents, and it's just infuriating.
Well, they're the ones that freaking out over independence constantly.
Do not redeem it! Do not redeem it! Do not redeem it! Why you redeem it?
Oh, independence! I will redeem it.
Oh.
I am going to redeem it. What do we got here? Teresa coming in $10 super chat. Calgary police had to arrest 2 people that were harassing canvassers yesterday. One of the guys arrested even went after the officer for supporting the canvassers. Holy crap! Is there video of that? Is there video?
Yes.
Somebody tell me there's video.
Send me the tape. Send me the tape. God damn it!
Somebody tell me there's body cam footage of that. I want it. I want it on the show right now.
This is huge. This is huge. That's crazy. I you know what? Like I said, the panic is real. And like, we're not doing this to enrich ourselves. Well, we are the province, but at the end of the day, this isn't an ego thing or nothing like that. This is just a way for everyone in this province to be successful and to create something new out of this dominion. And I'm tired of seeing the people struggle and work themselves to the bone. I want us to be like 1999 all over again.
Stay Free Alberta has all the videos. I'm going to message them.
That's gold.
Give it to me now. Give it to me now, please. Please. I'm gonna sound like Donkey from Shrek. Oh, baby, please give me those videos, please. Please, I want them on the show. Oh my God.
We so many good views when it comes to that.
Of course, we're salivating. Who doesn't like seeing guys? Do you ever watch those videos on YouTube? Like I always love watching like the body cam videos of like people, like stupid idiots that get arrested. What better way than to watch somebody who's getting arrested? Why aren't you taking down these people committing treason? Because you're under arrest. Why am I under arrest? Oh my God.
Speaking of crazies, do we talk about the unions?
Oh, please. Do you have something on the unions?
Okay, guys. Because right here on the Forge, we do the hard work so that you don't have to. And sometimes it's extremely painful. Okay. So, previous Douche of the week, on the Freedom Honey podcast, Gil McGowan. So yeah, this guy. You ever notice that when he does like a speech or something like that, he seems a little too uppity? I want to know what he's on because it seems like a good time. Anyway, so the Alberta unions have now, of course, everything's communist fist with these people, have decided to have a day of protest on, I think it was May 29th. This is and he did a live, what do they call, Fight Back Now campaign. And it was just I had to sit through this thing for like an hour. For the 5 people that were watching, I was like the one that was in it. And basically what they're planning is they're going to pick this day, May 29th. Everyone's going to leave work allegedly on their lunch breaks and stuff like that to participate in mini protests all across the province.
Doesn't that picture of Gil McGowan look like the kind of guy like who shouldn't be around a playground? Like there's something about that face.
It's too much. So But if you look at the tape, I had it on X. If you look at the tape, they clearly say it's like, oh, this isn't to support the NDP, but this is basically us supporting the NDP.
Yep.
Like it's 100% political. It's 100%. They're just the different unions that they're bringing into this are just angry because like the non-withstanding clause and
didn't you say
the
they're
teachers
wanting
having
to
to go
use
back
union?
to work.
They're wanting to use union dues to pay for this stuff.
Who else is paying for it? I mean, the posters, the advertisement, the media locations, all this stuff. I'm like, of course it's going to be union dues.
But here's the thing. Weren't unions designed in order just to work for employees to get them better deals? And now they're getting political, and now they're using employee dues to fund political agendas. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, even on the one presser, he's talking about that, we weren't directly involved with the recall campaigns, but it's like we encouraged our membership to go. We encouraged them to volunteer. We encouraged them to sign the petition. We encouraged them to set up the tables. I'm like, what did you encourage? It was these, and the thing is, I got, like, these are civil servants. Like, I mean, like I can understand the necessity of unions, especially when you're in like a corporate setting or, you work for a large company, but these are civil servants. Like these are government employees. And for the last 3 years, it's just been bitching after bitching after bitching.
Here's the CB saying Alberta's going to dump supply management, CIFA, and any other useless dictator type group and have a free market system. It'll be great. It will be great. I can't wait.
I want to see Canada flooded with Alberta milk.
Yes, absolutely.
Just undercut them right off the hop, undercut them completely, wiping out the Quebec competition.
Yeah. I've got a video coming up about Gil McGowan's ridiculous statements on Wednesday, folks. So make sure you chime in for that one. I've really been trying to spread the videos out this week because I'm trying to get content together for you guys when I'm gone next week. Keep in mind, next week, Matt and Mike will be doing The Forge on Monday night, as well as Unhinged Fringe on Wednesdays. You guys are going to kind of take over the channel for a little bit. Hey.
Oh yeah. The inmates are running the asylum. Plus I will be most likely at a remote location. So you'll see a different setup, but I'm bringing the setup with me. So it'll be minutes of fun as we go through the audio jams, as you know what, just to make you upset, Derek, we're going to go off the deep end. We're going to make you upset. And
you're going to go up and above where you should be. You're going to go out of line, and I'm going to have to come in and say, Mike, I like you, okay? You're one of the greatest co-hosts I've ever had. You're very smart, very wonderful person, but Mike, you're fired.
Exactly. 45 minutes of talking about my Bigfoot hunting expeditions.
No, I'm sure you guys will do great. Listen, you guys did really good when you took over Monday last week. I think you guys have a real knack for it, and that was entirely why I brought you guys onto the channel to begin with. Was somebody's going to have to take the torch if something ever happens to the old Fringe, and also we need more opinions than just my bloated opinion all the time. So I think you guys got it. I think you guys are going to do a great job.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to catching it afterwards because I'll be sitting tired from walking all day in a hotel room and saying, what did Mike and Matt do?
Exactly.
Hopefully
You'll be just stressed out. CB Fixes All and Snatch and stuff will be emailing you. He's like, they're ruining the show. Oh my God.
I will have my phone off. I think I only get so much data when I'm in the US as well. I don't know how that works. I'll have to check it out, but let's move over to Q&A. Let's get some Q&A going on. Where are the likes at, folks? Did we get 1,000 likes? 4 t-shirts to be given away tonight if you guys get and a book. If we get up to 1,000, did we even get near 1,000, or did everybody sleep on that one? Is 768 really?
Fail.
Can we get another 230? There's 670 people in here right now. Can we get the likes up before the end of the show? Let's see if we can do it. It's starting to go up.
If I get 1,000, I may acknowledge the Mankini thing. Maybe I'll bust that out one episode.
Don't do that, Mike. Come on. This is
OAO will go absolutely nuts in the chat.
It's mostly a PG channel. Don't do that, please.
And I'm a PG kind of guy.
Cindy saying Matt and Mike work well together. They do. They really do. The first time Matt met Mike was at the Big 4 stream that we did. And they nailed it. I literally drove the whole way back to Spruce Grove telling Matt what a great job they did, and that really they reinforced why I brought them on. They really did a good job. I'm really appreciative of everything they do.
I was happy to meet some of the listeners, and like Dutchie's super cool, and it was minutes of fun. And now Matt and I spend most of our day just sharing inappropriate memes with each other that could never come on the show. Like we would be banned instantly.
Ann Yazinski with a $5 super chat. Awesome live today. You two rock and you rock. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Real Steve Jensen again with $5. Ordered 2 Alberta pin flags for the truck and some pins to give away.
Good
Steve,
job.
Never change. You, sir, are a gentleman and a scholar. What do we got for Q&A? What we got?
Mike, are you from PG? No, I'm out here in Beaver County, so just west of Edmonton, in my beloved swamp. But thank you.
What we got here? Do you think Canada would start a civil war with Alberta if we win our independence? No, Mike, you're ex-military. What do you think?
I mean, this is a touchy subject. The vet community of Alberta, the pro-independence one, gets into some pretty dark subjects in their secret chats. But no, necessarily at the end of the day, I think if we declare independence and the US and other countries acknowledge it, then if anything retaliatory were to happen with Canada towards us, it would be on them. And if they would deny it, that's why there is the backup plan in the event where we do be successful with the referendum and we do carry it forward and everything like that, and Canada just comes out of nowhere and says no. As long as we're acknowledged by other countries that we're a free and independent country, that doesn't matter. At that point, then they are doing the illegal invasion. So
be mad. I wish I could have a holiday. Listen, I'll tell you, when we sold the house in Calgary last year, when we moved to Spruce Grove, we tucked a good chunk of money aside because we had to do landscaping. We had to do a lot of other things. And my kids, mostly my daughter, she struggled a little when we moved because she was 6th grade. She was kind of just starting to make friends, like forever friends. So we had some left over and said, what do we do with it? Do we put it into developing the basement? Do we put it into other things? We kind of wanted to do something nice for our kids. The first time the wife and I went to Anaheim on vacation was our honeymoon. I slipped a disc pulling a heavy Sony Trinitron TV the night before, lifting it. So that trip was pretty much ruined. We couldn't do a lot in Anaheim. Then we went back 3 years ago. My wife's sciatic went the night before we left. She spent the entire trip in a wheelchair, which was partially beneficial because we were able to cut the lines in Disney. However, we said, look, let's take one last run at it. We'll put that money aside for the kids and we'll go. I'll tell you, it's been tempting a number of times with the cost of things these days to say, maybe we shouldn't do that trip, but really it's all about the kids. It's given them something. They've had a tough year, not just with the move, but with other personal things. So this was kind of a little bit of a payback for them. So I don't do vacations very often either. And I'll tell you, if I wasn't so geared up to making sure the kids were happy, we wouldn't be doing it either. It's
all right. CB Fixes All. Mike, did you go to the Stony Plain Gun Show over the weekend? Did you find a musket yet? No, this weekend. This is the one gun show that my wife's products are actually not allowed. Not just they're too offensive for the Edmonton crowd, let's just say. So yeah, it's the only one she doesn't do, but next weekend she'll be in Westlock. Did I get a musket yet? No, my musket dealer's in Calgary by the name of Bill. So, I don't know, maybe like I said, if they take away all the guns, it'll be, firing squad, circa like 1694, and, we'll just do it old school. Yeah. But,
Teresa, how's Mrs. Fringe's mom doing? So I'm happy to report, Miss Fringe came home yesterday. I went and picked her up, and the mother-in-law's doing good. She's had a bit of a scare. So they removed a mass in her intestine that they thought was benign, sent it away, found out it was cancerous. However, surprisingly, folks, the reason I'm sharing this is because the Lord must have been on her side, because usually in the medical system, especially in Alberta, when you need referrals, when you need surgeries, things move pretty slow. we've often reported about the 15-hour wait times in emergency rooms. She got in pretty quick, and they found out that the mass was cancer. But they found that they got it fast enough by getting her in. They believe that it's not going to spread, that they've got it all. They were able to remove everything. So this is the one time I'm actually grateful to see that Alberta's medical system actually worked. So kudos on that one. She's got a long recovery road ahead of her, but you know, she's got me able to call her every single day and keep her at her wit's end to get out of bed and come here and slap me. So I'm sure at some point she'll be at the front door smacking me around, but no, I love my mother-in-law. She's amazing. I've known my mother-in-law since I was 16 years old. So, you know, it'd be a real tragedy to see something happen to her. But yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate you asking. What do we have? Let's get more Q&A. Somebody throw another question in there. Here's one about numbers. If Alberta gets the numbers, what's expected election date for independence? October 19th. So Premier Smith has said numerous times that if the signatures are collected, it's going to be an October 19th vote alongside the other referendum questions. I'm not sure if we get over 1 million signatures, there might be pressure to have it on a single ballot. But what we have to remember about Premier Smith's questions is they're kind of useless because they would require 7 of 10 provinces agreeing with them, opening up the Constitution.
Changes. Yeah.
And it's never going to happen. So really, I forget who we had on the show. We either had somebody on the show or we were watching a video where somebody had said they believe that Premier Smith is doing this ideally to pave the way forward. For independence, that it ideally is going to lead to that question by pointing out the other issues, that hey, none of these things get fixed without claiming independence. So
it's like Jason Kenney's referendum question on equalization. I mean, we had a massive vote for that and nothing happened. You know what? I will say though, it was good though, because it did give us a chance to get rid of Fat Stalin, as you so lovingly call him.
Good old Jason Kenney. I mean, look, Kenny's always been a federalist. I was shocked when the pandemic first hit and Jason Kenney had said, oh, we have no plans to implement a passport or to lock people down further than we already have. And all of a sudden, Alberta just took this huge turnaround that masks were mandatory everywhere, even if you had, an exemption document. You could go stand elbow to elbow with people in Walmart or Costco, but you couldn't go to the mall anymore. The hypocrisy was resoundingly stupid. But then as soon as we started to see his roots on his federalism, it didn't shock me. The Mike Keeney. Is that going to be the new?
I think that's good. Yeah, you know what? I'll take the brunt on that. You know, it's like slowly as the likes go up and the views go up, parts of clothing will remove. How's that? It's a show for the eyes and the audio listeners as well, people.
Unreal. Randy's saying, "Oh God, it's Randy." 850 likes. Really, guys? Like 150 shy. We almost got there. I guess. That's too bad. I was looking forward to doing a giveaway tonight.
Dividend on Wednesday with Matt. How's that?
Well, we'll see if we can hit it on Wednesday, I guess. Paniner, we should just answer the independence question and leave the rest blank because they have nothing to do with a newly freed Alberta. So no, do not do that. I've heard a lot of people saying, do I answer the other questions? We should just leave it blank. Answer all of the questions exactly how you want to answer them when you go to fill out that referendum ballot. Do not leave any. You have to understand that this is the same as putting 2 check marks on a ballot during a regular election, or not having a legible ballot with a clear X on there. They will find any excuse to say, well, you answered this question, but it goes against independence because you said yes to this and no to that. Or they'll say you didn't fill out the ballot properly, so we're not going to counter it or count it with all the other ballots. there's going to be a resounding pushback on any. Please just follow the rules, do what you're asked to, and vote for independence if you're going to vote for independence. And let's be done with it. Let's do it right.
I'll send more cash if Mike keeps his clothes on. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Fair enough.
No.
Keep. You know what? You guys can have a bidding war. How's that? This point,
you guys can bid for it. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to. Derek wears pants. I wear pants in the wintertime. I'm going to be wearing shorts next week. I can't wait.
I don't wear pants for these actually.
Really?
It's like 900 degrees in my wife's craft room, and so it's just there's no pants right now.
Unbelievable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, everybody with the Super Chats, memberships, everybody who stuck around. I want to thank Adam Soos for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Great interviewee. Always love chatting with Adam. Yeah. I know you catch up with him quite a bit, Mike. I've hung around him a few times. A nice guy. Really go and check out his X account. Check out his shows. Again, we'll update you guys when his shows come out full time on YouTube. Join me live.
It'd be good stuff, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on a Monday night. And like I said, we're in this long fight, you guys, and keep doing the good work. Keep having the conversations with people. Keep putting the work in. This is Hearts and Minds. Every day you go out there, every person you talk to, that's one more brought to the cause. And like I said, we're gonna destroy the numbers. We're gonna have wonderful outcome. And together we're gonna build a wonderful, free, and prosperous independent Alberta.
Yeah.
So thanks again for tuning in.
Keep your heads up, guys. Independence is coming. We're getting the signatures. Everything's moving ahead. Don't buy into the narrative. Just keep your mind focused on getting the signatures. Like Mike says, talking with your friends and family. That's the most you can do right now. Encourage people to sign. From Mike and myself, ladies and gents, check out the content tomorrow and Matt and I Wednesday. Take care of yourselves, and we will catch you on the next one.
See you later, guys.
Folks.